Hi all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kat and I run the Instagram account rusticpages. Today I wanted to talk to you all a little bit about Reels. As we all know by now, times have definitely been changing and evolving, and these short form kind of videos are becoming more and more popular. For example, there is of course TikTok, there is Instagram Reels, there are YouTube Shorts, and these kind of short form videos have been performing really well and have been very pushed by various platforms in order probably to compete with TikTok. But more than anything else, people seem to be scrolling with them, being addicted to them more than ever before. And so other platforms are wanting to get behind this new kind of media outlet. So that all being said, this kind of adjustment has been especially hard for those of us who are photographers, artists, those who essentially just took aesthetically pleasing kind of photos, as has been really popular on places like Instagram for quite some time now. And so I wanted to bring you guys some tips that I have utilized in my own page to help incorporate Reels into my Instagram page and have it seem very natural and not forced. Because not all of us are wanting to make funny sort of skits on the internet. It might not be within our niche or within our skill set. So here are some tips that I've utilized, and they have greatly increased my own reach and seem to be working well. And again, this video is definitely more pointed towards those who used to post this kind of aesthetic photo content and are having a hard time adjusting to Reels. So idea number one is to essentially take a video version of the photos you like to take. Do your cute little aesthetic photo setup. Find a cute filter that you like. You can either edit in Lightroom after, because Lightroom now does video content, which is really awesome. Or you can find story filters on Instagram. I've made some, a lot of other creators make some that I utilize quite often in my stories if you want to take a look at some of the ones that I personally like to use. This tip is to essentially take a video version of your photo, and it can be 2 to 3 seconds long, and just still holding the camera and just recording your cute setup. Maybe you have some subtle movements I find works well is stuff like candles, or maybe there are leaves moving in the background, whatever is natural. But I find that these short videos do very well in Instagram's algorithm. I haven't noticed the same level of success as I've mentioned before in my TikToks, but for some reason Instagram's algorithm really likes this short content, and I think it's because odds are the person watching watched all the way through, and I think that that does well with their algorithm. But I've really loved doing this for my own content, because then you don't have to sacrifice those cute setups and stuff like that that you love so much, and it ends up looking a whole lot like the photo you're going to snap. Especially if it's edited nicely, if there's a really nice filter on it, you know, that kind of thing. You can still have that aesthetic content. And while you're there, also snap a photo, because you can still add a really nice photo as the cover photo for the reel, which keeps your page in general looking how you like it to look. So idea number two goes along with the thought that with this shift in social media, authenticity is very much rewarded. And so to bring that kind of authentic content back to maybe your highly curated feed is to film some maybe behind the scene contents, maybe some how-tos for how you set up your photos, or maybe for how you run your small business. A great example of this is like drawing time lapses, packaging videos, that sort of content. But the shift is really focusing more on real authentic moments over the highly edited and curated ones. And so I feel like kind of showing this behind the scenes of yourself, of how you do what you do, kind of adds back that authentic feeling. Because I know a lot of us have viewed Instagram as kind of like an art form, which you can still absolutely do, while maybe showing a bit of your process behind how you do what you do. This is also a great time to show a bit of you and maybe your personality behind the account, because again, I think that is very beneficial for people to feel more attached to you as a creator and not just to your creations, if that makes sense. So my third idea is essentially a slow buildup, and this is to make your audience wait a moment before a final reveal of sorts. So, and this can be done by focusing on maybe something in the foreground before revealing what's behind it. I do this often with, like, say a coffee cup, and then when I move it away, it's like a beautiful view behind it. Those kind of reels always do really well for me. It could be coming around a corner, going upstairs, walking up to a window, say, going around a corner to find a beautiful waterfall. Or a great example of this is actually a trend on TikTok right now that I've been seeing, at least, and it's when artists reveal their artwork along with the tune and whatnot, but it's a slow reveal and it makes people wait a moment to see what you're revealing. But the point is that this build up catches people's attention and makes them want to stick around a moment to see what it is you are revealing. Of course, like anything else, there is a balance to this where you don't want to wait too long and lose their attention. But I find this kind of method to be very beneficial. So my fourth idea is to keep in mind that sounds are a lot more important than people may realize. And if you have a video that absolutely flopped, that you're proud of, that you felt should have done better, maybe take that video, tweak it a little bit if you have to, but put it with a different sound. And I have had some videos that absolutely flopped the first time. I took that video, maybe made it a second shorter, maybe I waited too long to do something like a reveal, or it was just too long of a video in general, it lost people's interest. So I make it a little shorter. I add a different audio to it, which just makes a world of difference, and then post it again. And I've had videos that only got sub 1,000 views to hundreds of thousands of views once I fixed it. I think this is something that you learn and get better with the more you post, but especially in the beginning when you're kind of learning what does well, and even later on you'll have videos that flop that you're so proud of. I would just say be shameless and post it again. I've seen huge creators do this all the time, so I wouldn't let yourself feel embarrassed or anything like that for having to do that. Especially if it's something you're proud of, you want to allow it that second chance. So idea number 5, as I mentioned before, making your account more personable can go a long ways towards having your audience more invested as you, as a person, as a creator. And so actually showing yourself in your videos is a fantastic idea. Now, this isn't easy for everyone, especially if you are in a similar kind of niche as I am. And so what I do is I set up the camera and film myself doing one of the activities I talk about on my page. If it's hiking or seeing something new that's scenic, I'll do a walking sort of video, walking off into the view. Reading videos are great, even if I set up the camera as it is now and curl up with a book in this chair, that kind of content. If you're an artist, you drawing, it could be literally videos of the back of your head, but having you be more involved in your page can definitely help. And I really want to drill in that in order to succeed with short form content, you do not have to be a humorous kind of creator. You do not have to be a dancing video. You can show up and be yourself and still have them perform well and stay true to the purpose behind your content. So I hope these kind of tips help someone out there, but I want to emphasize that you don't have to follow along with what everyone else is doing. And I think it's a lot more beneficial to stay true to the feel you wanted your account to have and to stay true to your authentic self. Because the one positive thing I think is really coming out of this shift in social media is that creators are being more rewarded for being themselves, for showing real moments, and to maybe not edit their life as much. So if you haven't been able to tell, I really don't follow trends all that often. It doesn't really fit in with my page. My videos aren't really in the humor niche, etc. But all of that being said, they still do fairly well. They are more like the video translation of the kind of photos I used to post. And they are definitely keeping my business and I afloat. So I hope that this overall gives you some encouragement that you can go with these changes and kind of evolve with them. And stay relevant without feeling like you have to completely sell yourself out and stop creating the kind of content that you love in order to do so. You can definitely find a good balance. That's how I feel, at least with my own account, and I hope that you guys can also find that sort of balance, that in between, that works well for you and your page. But with that, I will talk to you guys all in my next video, and I hope you're all having a wonderful week.